Hey there folks, welcome back to a quick note. Today we're diving into the fascinating journey of Miyamoto Musashi, a legendary swordsman, philosopher, and artist. It's a tale of duels, deep thoughts, and brushstrokes. But before we jump into it, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more quick dives into intriguing stories. Step back in time to Japan's wild Sengoku era, where an extraordinary character made waves and is still talked about today. Miyamoto Musashi. Imagine this dude as a sword-wielding genius, facing off in intense duels, dropping deep thoughts, and always being put to the loyalty test. He wasn't just any fighter. He could take down a pro with a basic wooden sword and then casually write the Book of Five Rings. This book is not just for warriors. Even modern business brains dig into Musashi's wisdom. But who is the real Miyamoto Musashi? Was Musashi the legendary dueling champ, a deep thinker, or a chill artist into painting and sculpture? And how did a wandering samurai without a master turn into a super interesting figure that still captures our attention? Who is Miyamoto Musashi? Miyamoto Musashi came into the world in 1584 in Harima Province, Japan, right in the middle of the Sengoku era, a time of intense civil war. His dad, Shinmen Munasai, was a big deal in martial arts, mastering the sword and this cool weapon called jote. Growing up in this intense atmosphere, Musashi got an early start in the art of war. We're not sure about the specifics of his school education, but it's likely he got the usual schooling for a kid in his social class back then. Musashi's schooling probably included diving into Confucian and Buddhist texts, setting the stage for his later deep thoughts. As a teenager, Musashi was all about dueling and honing his martial skills. Then in 1600, a mega event in Japanese history went down, the Battle of Sekigahara. This battle was a big deal for Musashi too, even though the records are a bit fuzzy about exactly what he did. He likely fought for the Toyotomi clan, who ended up losing. But Musashi didn't let that setback get him down. Instead, he hit the road, had loads of duels, and worked on fine-tuning both his skills and his philosophy. By the time he hit his 20s, word was out that Musashi was a top-notch swordsman. His most famous duels with other samurai. Musashi's skills with a sword are the stuff of legends, highlighted by many epic duels that not only flaunted his swordsmanship, but also his knack for strategy. When Musashi was just 13, he faced off against Arima Kihei, a samurai who loved bragging about his skills in the town. Musashi wasn't having it. He challenged the guy and, get this, beat him with a simple wooden stick. That was a taste of Musashi's out-of-the-box style in combat. Musashi was all about keeping people on their toes when it came to dueling. Unlike many samurai buddies who stuck to the usual sword styles, he went rogue. Musashi came up with his own style called Niten Ichi-ryū, the school of two swords. It's not rocket science. He used both the long sword, katana, and the short sword, wakizashi, at the same time. Pretty wild, right? This move gave him a big edge because most opponents were only trained in one sword action. At just 16, he took down a tough warrior named Tadashima Akiyama in the province of Hyogo. And let's not forget one of Musashi's biggest showdowns in 1612 against Sasaki Kojiro, a master with his signature turning swallow cut. Talk about a legendary duel. The legendary duel went down on the quiet Funajima Island, and Musashi pulled a classic move. He strolled in fashionably late, probably to mess with his opponent's head. This dude, around 30 at the time, rocked up with a wooden sword he whipped up from an oar during his boat trip to the island. Talk about resourceful. In a quick clash, Musashi came out on top, sealing the deal as Japan's top swordsman. And get this, he dueled more than 60 times and never lost. That's a killer record that added tons to his legendary status. But it wasn't just about flexing muscles. Musashi turned his duels into brain games. He outsmarted his opponents with killer tactics and mind games, reading their moves and exploiting their weak spots like a pro. Why Musashi wrote The Book of the Five Rings. Miyamoto Musashi's The Book of Five Rings, penned in the 17th century, is a timeless classic dishing out wisdom on strategy and philosophy. Written as Musashi's life was winding down, the book packs in the core of his martial smarts and deep thoughts. Breaking it down, the book has 5 parts, each named after earth, water, fire, wind, and void, symbols standing for different angles on combat and life. The earth part kicks things off, giving you the lowdown on Musashi's strategy and the scoop on his two heavens as one sword style. It's all about thinking big, like viewing Earth from a mountaintop, to grasp the real deal behind martial arts strategies. Now let's dive into the water section, where Musashi spills the beans on tactics and techniques. Water is adaptable yet packs a punch, just like what you need in a battle. The book hammers home the idea that you've got to be as flexible as water in both how you move and how you think strategically. It's all about smoothly adapting to whatever curveballs come your way. Next up, the Firebook cranks up the heat on battle dynamics. Zooming in on the nitty-gritty of active combat, Musashi dives into the mind games of fighting, timing, rhythm, and the art of exploiting an opponent's weak spots. This part's your go-to for the real deal, the intense face-to-face sword showdowns. Now let's catch the wind, the fourth book, where Musashi dissects the other martial arts schools of his time. It's like he's playing judge, giving his take on different styles while comparing them to his own. The key lesson here? You've got to get the lowdown on various approaches, respect them, but also rock your confidence in what you bring to the table. Lastly, we hit the philosophical jackpot with Void, the final section. It's not your typical strategy talk. We're going deep. Musashi gets all zen, talking about what you can't touch or see, the intangible stuff. This part goes beyond the flashy moves and strategy. It's about the wisdom you need for true mastery. He drops the Mu bomb, shouting out the power of emptiness. Translation: true understanding isn't just about the physical moves. It's an inside job that goes beyond the techniques. Becoming a philosopher and Musashi's death. As Musashi's life moved along, he went from being a warrior and deep thinker to stepping back from the dueling scene and embracing a more secluded artistic vibe. After the big showdown with Sasaki Kojiro in 1612, Musashi started seeing life and his own legacy in a new light. Sure, he had already nailed down the title of Japan's top swordsman, but from then on, he started digging into other sides of life. Think art, writing, and diving deep into spiritual pondering. Musashi was evolving beyond the battlefield. In 1643, when Musashi was pushing into his late 50s, he decided to go full-on hermit mode. He holed up in a cave called Reigando, near Kumamoto, and basically said, "I need some alone time." This seclusion phase was like Musashi's personal retreat, a deep dive into his thoughts and creative juices. In the tranquility of Reigando, he put pen to paper and birthed the Book of Five Rings. It was his way of distilling a lifetime of experience into some serious philosophical and strategic gems. This masterpiece was wrapped up around 1645, just a blink before he passed away. It's a mix of spiritual and strategic wisdom, showing off Musashi's all-encompassing grasp of martial arts. But wait, there's more. Musashi wasn't just writing, he also perfected his game in other arts. Dude became an art whiz, known for killer sumi-e ink paintings and some top-notch calligraphy. Talk about a well-rounded guy. Musashi's art was a mirror of his martial arts style, straightforward and simple yet packed with profound expression. His paintings often showcased classic themes like birds, landscapes, and Buddhist figures, reflecting the Zen vibes that influenced his life and thoughts. As Musashi's journey neared its end, he took on a new gig, passing on his martial wisdom to eager students. He had a bunch of students, and unlike the old days, his teachings now went beyond just the moves. Musashi dished out not only the technique, but also the deeper philosophy and the importance of having a well-rounded character. When Miyamoto Musashi passed away on June 13, 1645, he left a legacy that went way beyond being a sword-wielding legend. His last years were like a highlight reel of his many sides: a feared warrior, a deep thinker, and a seriously talented artist. Musashi's journey from a duel-loving warrior to a philosopher and artist screams out a tale of constant growth and self-reflection. And there you have it, the incredible saga of Miyamoto Musashi, from duelist to philosopher and artist. If you enjoyed this quick exploration, don't forget to give us a thumbs up and subscribe to A Quick Note for more bite-sized stories. Thanks for tuning in, and until next time, stay curious.